Hi, everybody. Welcome to our winter sprint version of Environmental Biology Bio 121. I don't know if anybody has ever taken a 3-week course before, but I've actually done a couple of them. I've never taught this one in 3 weeks before, but as a student, one time I took organic chemistry as a 4-week sprint. I thought, well, if I only have one class to focus on at a time, I'll be able to concentrate on it, and that actually did work out okay. So I thought I would go over our syllabus with you like we would normally do on the first day of class, and hopefully be able to answer a few questions for you. I'm guessing since you've signed up for this course that you figure this is a good use of your 3-week break, and I think you'll really enjoy the class. It is a lot of work. I went kind of through it and sort of did a guesstimate about how many hours a day you would be spending on this class to get it all finished. And I am guessing four hours a day, probably with some study time in there, is what it's going to take to get this class finished. So our class actually begins on the 2nd, and it's almost 3 weeks long. My contact info is here on the syllabus, and this is part of our Canvas site, so you can always find the syllabus there. I did want to give you my cell phone, so I've added my cell phone in here. I think that's probably the handiest way for you all to reach me over JTerm. I always reply to emails and calls, so and you do not have to worry about bothering me. I think a lot of students don't, when they have questions, they're like, oh, they don't want to annoy the professor, and you will not annoy me. I would much prefer to talk to you or answer questions or do a Zoom chat with you if you ever need that. So there's the info for how to reach me. My office phone will go to a voicemail, and then I'll get a copy of your voicemail, but you could just bypass that, and you can text or call my cell phone. I don't mind at all. So I don't know how often I'll be in my actual office, but I am always available to you guys by Zoom. So, or I can return your call or whatever. So please reach out to me. So the next most important thing is to talk about the textbook and the required program for our course that you need to purchase and have ready to go before the first day of our class. So the textbook is called The Essential Environment, The Science Behind the Stories, and we're using the 6th edition. The publishers there with Gott and Lopsada, sorry, those are the actual authors, and Pearson is the publisher. So Pearson, working with these authors, has developed an entire sort of program to go along with it, which includes homework and quizzes and extra videos and some interesting content for you. There's also some study aids and things, including flashcards that are already pre-built into this program. You do have to purchase it, and so that's called the mastery, or the mastering of environmental science. That's what the name of that program is called. You need to make sure that you get the right edition, which is edition 6. All of our homework, your quizzes, your exams, everything is going to be done through that program. So that program is actually going to be embedded in our Canvas site, and you'll log in to Canvas like you normally would, and there'll be a link there for that mastering program, and that's where you're going to do a lot of your work. So you need to get access to that. There is a fee for that. I think the program is about $80, and then you can buy the e-textbook to go along with that as a bundle for $94. I will send you a separate announcement that has a link that kind of tells you how to purchase that program. But everybody needs to have that program before the first day of the class. because every day for our class is like a chapter. So you need to have access to that right away. You can't wait. I know a lot of people like to rent textbooks, and that's possible that you could do that, but the mastering code is a one-time purchase. You can't buy a used one. You have to buy it new each time. And so do not order one of these things online and then wait. Expect, Amazon or whoever to send you the mastering code. It will come way too late. Probably by the time you get it, our first exam will have already happened. So the easiest way is to just go through our Canvas site, and I'll send you a link, and it'll tell you how to go into the program, and you can just use a credit card and pay for it and have instant access. You don't have to wait. So that's the most important thing today, is to make sure that everybody gets registered in mastering, so that we can be ready to go on the first day. So the idea behind this class, for a lot of you, we have a really interesting group of students that are going to be taking it this winter. Lots of different majors, a few folks that are even kind of science oriented. But this class is really designed for everybody. So science majors, non-science majors, we're thrilled that you're taking this class. I'm sure that you all understand how important the environment is, because every day almost, if you watch the news, there's some kind of environmental associated news story on the evening news almost every day. And so this course does serve as the Miami Plan Foundation course for a whole bunch of different thematic sequences. So if people get excited about the environment and interested, this might be one that you can use then as part of your thematic sequence. So as far as the course itself, we're going to have 2 exams plus a final exam, so 3 big exams. Each chapter will have a quiz and homework. My exams are a combination of multiple choice and short answer and essay type exams. I try to help people along the way as much as I can. A lot of the multiple choice questions on these exams will be either the exact same ones that you had on your quizzes, your chapter quizzes, or they might be from your homework. As far as the essays and the short answer questions, I will make a study guide for you for each chapter. And as you're listening to the lectures, so all of the chapters have 1 or 2 audio lectures to go along with them, just like you would be listening to it as if we were all in class together. I would say the easiest way for you to, because you don't have a lot of time in this class, I would either copy or have open that study guide for the chapter. And then as you're listening to the video, go ahead and answer the study guide questions as we're going through the video. They're in the same order as the video lectures. And that's a really good active learning activity for you to do. I know it can get really boring just sitting there like looking at slides and listening to me talk to you about things. So I think you get a hold of those study guides, either print one off if you want to do it in writing, or just have it open on your laptop or your computer and answer those questions as we go through the lectures. That way you're really knocking out that chapter in one go, so you don't have to go back and try to find the answers later on when you're getting ready to study for your exam. So I think that's a good hint for you to help you be able to manage this and use your time wisely. So there is a homework assignment for each chapter. There is a 10-point quiz for each chapter as well. I think those are generally pretty easy for people if they've done the homeworks. Most people do pretty well. I'm going to actually count your best 10 chapter quizzes. So you're going to take 12 or 13 quizzes overall, and I'll drop a couple of your lowest ones, or if you accidentally miss taking a quiz, which I know sometimes it's hard to keep up with all the due dates, that'll help your grade overall. So I'll just count your highest 10. So that will equal 100 points. So it'll those weekly quizzes or chapter quizzes rather will end up being equivalent to an exam. So the way I'll do the homework, and if we look here a little bit at the grading system here, I have a little table for you that you can review. It talks about your exams there and then the quizzes. The homework, I'm guessing each homework will take about an hour, maybe a little bit less than an hour if you're really fast at it. And so all of those homeworks are going to be equal different number of points. Some of the chapters are longer and some are shorter. And so at the very end of our class, I just go through there, and if you've completed at least 75% of those homework points, I will be adding, you'll get all 50 points for homework. So I'm not going to go through and start going, oh, well, they did this one and they didn't miss that question and did all that. We don't really have time for that. So as long as you're putting a good effort in on getting your homework done and you have at least 75% of those points, you will earn all 50 points for doing homework. It's kind of like attendance and participation points if we were in class together. And so overall, that ends up being 450 points. You can obviously calculate your grade at any time. You just add up how many points you have and divide by how many points have been given out. And that will end up giving you your average. I don't need to... Typically, students do pretty well in my classes. I don't really round up or, do a whole lot of extra credit kind of stuff. If people just keep on top of their projects and their homework and their quizzes, I think your grades will sort themselves out pretty well. As far as important dates, the 7th, January 7th is the last day to withdraw from the class without a grade, and January 13th is the last day to withdraw from the class, and that'll give you a W. Our final exam is going to be on Sunday, January 24th. And of course, regular semester classes start on the 25th. So our class needs to be all finished before the regular semester starts on the 25th. So you'll have all day Sunday, the 24th, to do that exam until midnight. So as far as academic misconduct, with this being an online course, I know you have access to the internet, to the materials, to the study guides. I want you to have access to all of those things. I want you to use all of those references when you're taking your quizzes and your tests. But that doesn't mean that you get to go and you copy, answers off of Wikipedia into your essay questions. That is not appropriate. So all of your short answer and your essay questions, when you're writing those out, you need to be writing those in your own words, using information from our lectures. The examples that I give you during the audio lectures are the examples that you should be using on your exams. So I guess that's a little bit of accountability for you. I do not use Proctorio. I don't like that. I don't like the idea of you guys getting videotaped while you're taking your tests. So I won't be doing that. And I actually want you to use your references and your books and everything you've learned. So the only thing I ask is that you do not copy from each other. That's called plagiarism, right? And that you do not go in and try to copy and paste things off of Google and Wikipedia. Your exams are timed. I give you a couple hours to do them, and you will need all of the time to be doing the exams. If you start trying to look up answers, research answers on the internet because you haven't done your study guides, you will not have time to complete your exams. So again, do your own work. Most of the time, I really like students helping each other, and I'm fine with that if you guys want to help each other and share study guides and answer questions, and we can do even a review session before your exams if you want to. But when you're actually doing your exams, those need to be done all by yourself. So if there are any students that have a disability, please reach out to me and let me know what kind of accommodations you may or may not need. I think, again, because of all of this is online, that'll take care of a lot of those issues that people have as well. So you'll really be logging in to our Canvas site through the Miami program, as most of you know how to do that already, and then entering the mastering program through our Canvas site. If you do it that way, you'll have access to all the notes and everything else that I put in there for you to do. And you can use different devices to be able to do your quizzes and your homeworks. I believe the mastering site allows you to use smartphones and tablets and things like that, not just computers. The announcements I'll be sending out to you will be coming through Canvas. So please log in and check those or have those automatically uploaded so you don't have to remember to go and log in. Lots of times I send out announcements if there's some very pertinent thing happening environmentally. I might send you a video link of something that's in the news right now to watch, just to make our class more relevant and interesting. So keep up with the schedules. Let me go through that with you a little bit. So this kind of lays out the different chapters and what we're going to cover, when the exams are, and which chapters are going to be on those exams. So again, all of the exams, by the way, I've set up to be on Sundays. So your first exam is going to be Sunday the 10th. Your second is Sunday the 17th. And then your final exam is, your last exam is on January 24th, Sunday, which is the final exam as well. So generally, you'll have 4 to 5 or so chapters per examination, which should tell you that you're going to be doing about a chapter a day. So we're actually going to skip a couple of chapters. If you notice here, we're not going to cover chapter 5, and we're going to skip chapter 10 as well. And so you will need to be staying on top of this. You really can't get behind at all. I tried to give you a couple of extra days to study for your exams. So if you look over on the left, it shows you that you're on January 2nd. You're going to be doing chapters 1 and 2. Chapter 1 is a very short kind of introductory chapter. And then after that, almost every day you'll have an exam. So your homeworks you should do those, and your study guides at the same time you're going over the lecture material. Then take the quiz and then move on. So I think the way I'm going to organize your quizzes is, instead of having specific individual due dates, I'm just going to have all of the quizzes that will be on, that are the basis for chapter 1. I think I will have those due like on the 9th. And so, I would not wait that long if I were you. I would do them one at a time as you're doing each chapter, but I'll just open them all up and have them go like January 1st through the 9th. And that way, if you want to spend a couple of really long days and get ahead a little bit, you can do that. And that'll give you a little bit more time to study then for the exams. And so that's kind of the syllabus as far as what the materials are that we're going to cover. some of the topics. Hopefully you'll find some things here that you're interested in. I find that lots of my students become very, very interested in the environment. A lot of things that you don't really think about on a daily basis, all of a sudden you're gonna start thinking and watching and seeing what people do. So that's the syllabus. The days on the left there are the dates. So again, every day you should be working on a chapter, and the chapter numbers are there on the right where it says chapter reading. So chapter 1 and 2, 3, and etc. So the final exam, I'm going to give you 2 days to complete that. So I'll open that up on like the 23rd, and you'll have all day on the 23rd and the 24th to take the final exam. So that's basically kind of a rundown of our course. I do have a couple of thoughtful quotes that I think are really interesting. E.O. Wilson, who's a famous biologist, he's studied the social behavior of insect colonies, especially like ants and bees, and how do they communicate with each other. I actually got to work with him a little bit in Costa Rica on a project when I was a graduate student. He said, if all mankind were to disappear, the world would regenerate back to the rich state of equilibrium that existed 10,000 years ago. If insects were to vanish, the environment would collapse into chaos. So I think that's an interesting quote. And, again, he's looking at things as basically someone who studied insects. Margaret Mead said, never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. A lot of people have heard of that quote before. John Muir, who is discussed in chapter 1, he's one of the first conservationists that we had in this country, said, when we try to pick out anything by itself, we find it hitched to everything else in the universe. And what he's really trying to get at there is that everything is connected. What you do, how you live your lives is actually connected to everything else. And that's going to become very apparent to you when we get about halfway through our class. You'll realize how closely interrelated all those different topics are to each other. Robert Swan said, the greatest threat to our planet is to believe that someone else will save it. And I've been hearing, doom and gloom stuff about climate change since I was in high school. And in the back of my mind, always I thought, well, those science folks, those scientist people, they'll figure it all out. I don't have to worry about this. And so I'm asking you to think about what you can do at the beginning of our class, and then at the end of the class, what could you do that would actually make a difference? A Native American said, and I wish we knew who said this, this person said, we do not inherit the earth from our ancestors. We borrow it from our children. And so the state of the planet right now is not your fault. You're inheriting the mess that your parents and your grandparents and your great-grandparents created. And so I guess I would like you to think about what kind of condition you want to leave the planet for your kids and your grandkids in the future. The very last quote says, imagine if trees gave off Wi-Fi signals. We would be planting so many trees that we'd probably save the planet. Too bad they only produce the oxygen we breathe. I thought that was a pretty good quote. And I should tell everybody now that I'm actually a botanist. I do restoration ecology. That's my research focus. I've been at Miami for a long time now, and I've taught this course for several years, although this is the first time I've ever done a sprint version of it. So hopefully you'll enjoy the class. The other thing I'd like to mention is a lot of the recorded lectures that you're going to hear are actual real classes. And so you may hear me asking students questions, them answering. So not every lecture is like that. Some I've just recorded just for you. If you hear me say odd dates like such and such a thing is due in October or, before Christmas, it's because it's something from this past fall that I recorded. And so I didn't really take a bunch of time to go through and make sure that I've edited all of those out. So if you hear any of those in the lectures, just ignore those odd months and dates that don't pertain to our class. And again, look forward to getting to know everybody, and please contact me if you have any questions or if you run into any problems, and I'll be glad to help you. All right, bye-bye.